Hockey, the official winter sport of Canada. The dream of almost every young Canadian is to one day be in the National Hockey League. But I can bet that Dorothea May Elliott never wanted to be immortalized with the legends of the sport. In the early 1900s, a few years before the Hockey Hall of Fame moved into the historic building that has been a Bank of Montreal branch for close to 100 years, Toronto musician Joanna Jordan saw a female ghost looking down on her from a second floor ceiling. Jordan was playing the harp at an event being held in the building's great hall. She was unaware at the time that a ghost haunted the space. I remember it so vividly, she says, because it's one of those things you'll never forget. Jordan refused to go up to the second floor by herself when she played at the hall, which opened in 1993, some years later. She said that it was just too spooky up there. It is assumed that Jordan had seen the spirit of a young bank teller who had killed herself in the bank in the mid-1900s. Dorothea was only 19 years old. She shot herself early in the morning of Wednesday, March 11th, 1953, and died 22 hours later at St. Michael's Hospital. Her death didn't garner much attention from the newspapers of the day. The Toronto Telegram ran a brief piece on March the 11th, which reported that the police were checking a story that the attractive young brunette may have been despondent over a love affair. The Telegram didn't follow up on the story, but the Toronto Daily Star, now known just as The Star, ran a 3-paragraph article on page 14 the next day that announced her death, citing the cause as loneliness, because her boyfriend had left her to take a job on the boats. Neither paper mentioned her by name, but it did appear on the death notice on March the 13th. Over the years, other rumors emerged. One version accused her of having been caught stealing money. Another said she had been discovered helping members of the Irish Republic Army who were planning to rob the bank to fund their cause back home. And a psychic several years ago said she was murdered because she had uncovered a scheme involving the bank manager, the chief of police, and a leading judge, all of whom were embezzling money belonging to farmers. The most common theory, however, was that she was having an affair with either another teller or the branch manager, who was a married man, who had an apartment in the bank. The latter account is the accurate one, according to someone who knows the details and for personal reasons doesn't want to go on record. She was a beautiful young woman who was very popular, according to the source. She looked like the actor Rita Hayworth. The source also said that Dorothea had been orphaned at the age of 9. Following the deaths of her parents a few years apart, Len Redwood, the bank's messenger in 1953, described her in a 1982 interview as the life of the party, the most popular girl in the bank. He said she shot herself in the woman's second floor washroom with the bank's revolver, a .38 caliber, which was kept in his drawer. Years later, his son Vic said his late father told him that he and an ambulance attendant carried Dorothea downstairs, likely still alive, in a wooden Windsor-style chair. That chair was at his parents' cottage. A few years ago, one of Dorothea's fellow workers, who thinks she was the last person to have seen her alive, stated, "Dorothea was a beautiful girl, tall and buxom," said Doreen Bracken. "I wasn't very sophisticated at the time, but she was. The men liked her." Bracken remembered the day of the shooting. She said she came in at about 8 a.m. and Dorothea was already there. Bracken noted that Dorothea was wearing a blue knitted dress, looked distressed and disheveled. Just after 9 o'clock, another employee, Zeta Rushbrook, began screaming and yelling over the balcony, Bracken said. Len Redwood raced upstairs to see what was wrong and discovered Dorothea's body. "We didn't hear a shot," Bracken said. There have been countless reports of strange occurrences in the building over the decades that are believed to be connected to the girl's spirit, which is known as Dorothy. Lights flickering on and off, doors and windows opening and closing for no apparent reason, and moans screams, and other eerie sounds echoing through the historic structure. Some staff and employees have heard footsteps when working alone at night. A few have felt a phantom hand on their shoulder or their leg. Rob Hines, who formerly worked at the hall as a special events supervisor, had an encounter that spooked him. While preparing for an event, he entered a narrow kitchen that runs behind the second floor conference room to get some coffee urns at around 6 a.m. A strong feeling as if being watched by someone, but different than that, enticed him to enter the conference room, which was in darkness. He said one of the chairs was turned as if a breeze was in there. It actually moved right into my hands. I'm rather skeptical about ghosts, but I just freaked out and ran out of there. Now, despite all of the reports, only one other person is believed to have actually seen the spirit. One summer, a young boy who was visiting the Hall of Fame when he started screaming, "Don't you see her? Don't you see her?" Jane Rodney, who was the hall's coordinator of Resource Center Services at the time, said he claimed a woman with long black hair was going in and out of the walls. Dorothy's family does not speak about her death, nor would they comment for the article that appeared in the Star. They have objected over the years to her being seen as an object of fun, but if you're ever in the Hockey Hall of Fame and feel the spirit of the legends of the game, one spirit you may sense is not that of a forward, defenseman, or goalie, that of a young lady who left the world in heartbreak, but now resides in the Hall of Greatness. Thanks for watching.